Hello, Tamers. As you may have noticed by the thumbnail, Digimon's in kind of a weird place right now. Now, we're not stuck in the sense of we're not getting products. They're still making premium stuff, which is obviously a good sign, because if they're making premium stuff, it means that Bandai knows they're doing well, which is obviously good for us as consumers. So, the consumer side of things, Digimon card game is going really well. Really good. Sets are coming out. We know like 2 or 3 sets ahead that we're getting stuff. We know we've got EX4 coming out still. We know there's BT13 coming out. We know there's the reprint set coming out. I think we may have heard about BT14 already. I'm not too sure. Obviously, you can see when this is going live, so you can see obviously, what's going on. But lately, Bandai has just been doing a lot of bad quality control. Now, luckily for us, Japanese companies make some fantastic looking card qualities. All the cards look really good in terms of like they're coming out cut straight. There's no wrinkles. There's no print lines. There's no cards that have been half chewed by the neighbour's dog. No, they all look pretty good. Like 9 times out of 10, you open a pack and it's going to be pristine. You are getting that mint out of pack goodness. Occasionally you'll get some with a little bit of edge damage, but they are cards after all. They are getting bounced around a little bit. But for whatever reason lately, Bandai's quality team has just been awful in terms of what's getting printed on these cards. The amount of erratas that have turned up in the last 2 sets has been astronomical. I'm pretty sure, I might be a couple of numbers off here, that in the last 2 sets alone, we've had 30 cards that need errataing. Because they're not checking what's going on. Because they're copying and pasting things. Because no one is checking the cards and referring them to the Japanese text. For instance, Growlmon. Growlmon here has the same effect as Guilmon. Now, traditionally, this Growlmon does not have this effect. Growlmon's effect is on digivolving, not on deletion. Now, doesn't sound like a real big issue, does it? Now, the problem is, though, if you're playing with somebody and they read their cards and they put it down and go on deletion, I'm going to crash into something and hopefully explode into 1,000 pieces, and they don't, and you go, actually, wait, stop, this is incorrect. Actually, this is the correct wording. And they go, okay, show me the correct wording then. And you currently go to the TCGI Plus website or app. We've all got phones, right? The good old Blizzard meme. We've got phones. You check on there, and the current issue is all the cards in there have got the incorrect wording, which means you now look like an idiot. This person's now going to play the game they want to play rather than the game that they should be playing because Japanese text takes precedence, always. And we don't have any source of erratas. Unlike with BT10, where they did announce pretty much on release for Europe, actually, whoopsies, we've made some mistakes here. And this might be one of the reasons why they did have an issue with trying to get cards out during the time period of EX3. Because as you've noticed, they've not done any reveals, and I think it might be because they've realised when they were looking at these cards, actually, we've made a lot of mistakes. What we're going to do now is going to go through a few of these different ones, show you what's going on, and see all the different things. A lot of the time, it is just a case of like you may, or one of, or if there is. Like a lot of it is more down to how they want you to do actions in terms of like you get a choice if you want to do that, or the choice of you searching for something is more a wide range as opposed to it being specific. Groundman is a very good example though of it being specifically it's just the wrong effect, or the trigger for the effect is just wrong, whereas a lot of these ones are more just may-offs, which is a big thing in the English one. It does seem that we don't get a lot of you mays. They do seem to be fallen off for whatever reason, which is why we didn't know about D-Digivolve for a long time. I think it was like BT6 or BT7 we finally found out that when you D-Digivolve something by X number, you have to always pick one, but you don't always have to pick the maximum. So, some of these beautiful erratas, let's have a quick nosy over here. No particular order, we'll go with Hydramon. Before, when Digivolving, all turns once per turn. When an opponent's Digimon becomes suspended, for each other suspended Digimon with vegetation, plant, or fairy in its traits you have in play, gain 1 memory. End of your turn, once per turn. If you have 2 or more suspended Digimon with vegetation, plant, or fairy in their traits, place one of your opponent's Digimon at the bottom of their deck. After, when Digivolving, all turns once per turn. When an opponent's Digimon becomes suspended, for each other suspended Digimon, vegetation, plant, or fairy in their traits you have in play, gain 1 memory. End of your turn. Once per turn. If you have 2 or more suspended Digimon, vegetation, plant, or fairy in one of their traits, place one of your opponent's suspended Digimon at the bottom of their owner's deck. This one is specifically referring to that they don't have to have the same trait to trigger, as long as they have, instead of having to share a trait, as long as they have one of the 3 traits available to them, so you can have a fairy on the field, a plant, and a vegetation. As long as 2 of those cards meet the criteria of the thing you're asking for, do your effect. Gatomon, before, on play, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. Add 1 yellow card with Angel in its traits, and 1 card with 4 Great Dragons in its traits among them to your hand. Place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. Your turn. Once per turn, when you play a Digimon with 4 Great Dragons in its traits, it gains Rush for the turn. After, on play, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. Add 1 yellow card with Angel, Authority, Cherubi, Seraph, Throne, or Virtue, other than the 3 Great Angels in one of their traits, and 1 card with 4 Great Dragons in the traits amongst them to your hand. Place the remaining at the bottom of your deck in any order. Your turn. Once per turn, when you play a Digimon with 4 Great Dragons in its traits, one of those Digimon gains Rush for the turn. Again, the biggest issue here is that in Japan, because of how the kanji works, I want to say kanji, I don't think it's the katakana or hiragana, I think it is specifically kanji, Angel is just a base word for the rest of the things. So it's always something angel, like High Angel, Great Angel, Virtuous Angel, King Angel, Cherubi. I don't know, that'd be like Baby Angel. But that's the whole point. The issue, what we've had here, is that because Japan uses connective words or connective kanji to make new words, it doesn't translate very well to the English. So when we say angel, we just mean like specifically angel. But when they say angel, they just mean everything that has angel in its traits. And because all these cards are something angel, that's why we're having the issue now in translation. Slaydramon. Before, all turns. Start of your opponent's main phase, you may suspend one of your Digimon with Dra or Examon in its name to force one of your opponent's Digimon to attack. After all turns, start of your opponent's main phase, you may suspend one of your Digimon with Dramon or Examon in its name to force your opponent to attack with one of their Digimon. I think the difference here is, in the original one, you're telling your opponent that that Digimon has to attack, whereas I think in this version it's they choose which one gets to attack, which I think is the correct way round. Could be wrong. I'm just trying to figure out by the wording of this. They both read the same, but obviously, depending on the situation, is forcing one of your opponent's Digimon to attack is different than forcing your opponent to attack with one of their Digimon. So they get, I believe it's they getting the choice of which one's going to attack, as opposed to you going like, that one has to attack. I'm not 100% sure. I think this was discussed when it first was shown off when EX3 came out in Japan, that they got to choose. And I don't think it was announced earlier. I think it announced sort of a little bit later, which is why X-Men had like a good 1 or 2 weeks and then disappeared again. But now we do know that obviously your opponent picks the Digimon, and you have to then decide if you really want to get smashed in the face by one of these Digimon. Plasmon. Before, when Digivolving, you may play 1 blue level 3 Digimon card or 1 level 4 or lower Digimon card with Aquatics in its traits from one of your blue Digimon's Digivolution sources without paying its cost. Then, you may play 1 blue Digimon card from your hand under this Digimon as its bottom Digivolution card. All turns once per turn. When you play a Digimon from Digivolution cards, return one of your opponent's Digimon of the same level to the bottom of the deck. After, when Digivolving, you may play 1 level 3 Digimon card or 1 level 4 or lower Digimon card with Aqua or Sea Animal in its traits from one of your blue Digimon's Digivolution cards without paying the cost. Then, you may place 1 blue Digimon card from your hand under this Digimon as its bottom Digivolution card. All turns once per turn. When you play a Digimon from a Digivolution card, you may return one of your opponent's Digimon at the same level to the bottom of the owner's deck. Again, this is the same as the example for Gatomon. It's just about Aqua covers a lot of broad things in Japan, what Aqua specifically was doing for us. Some of you may remember, or if you're fairly new, you might not know. We had like a weird errata where some things got turned from sea serpents into sea animals, I believe. So that's why this is a difference. Now they want to try and combine things together so it's more uniformed for things like this. And I think they tried to errata it when they did to try and push it into like future formats because they knew this was going to happen. So I think they did that for BT8. Been a while. Dobrikmon. Before Rush. Unplay. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon 3000 DP or less. For each card with Dragon in its traits in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, add 2000 DP to the maximum DP you can choose with that effect. Digicross -2. 5 Digimon cards with different names plus Dragon traits. On play, place from hand or battle area under this card, reducing play cost per card. After rush, on play, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 3000 DP or less. For each card with Dragon, Saw, or Ceratopison in one of your traits in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, add 2000 DP to the maximum DP you can choose with this effect. Digicross, -2, 5 cards with different names, Dragon Saw and Ceratopison in one of those traits. When you would play this card, you may place cards from the battle area and your hand, reducing the cost of this per card. Again, this is the same as the last card as well as the Gatomon. It's just about expanding what this card actually searches for. Again, this is an issue with how Japan has wordings for their kanjis and how we don't. So a dragon is a specific thing, whereas, like, for instance, a dragon in Japan is just like a flaming lizard or whatever. It's very flamboyant. It's very happy, and that's kind of what we're going to show. This is the examples I'm just going to give as like the 5 things that we've seen that they currently have. I think currently in this set there's like 15 to 20 current erratas that need to be done, and when a card set is less than 80, it's obviously more than 25% of your set. In the last set, I think there was 12 to 15 cards that had to be errated because they got errated for the pre-release versions of the cards, but not the actual cards themselves. But that's it for today, guys. Digimon card game is actually thriving, despite what people might believe or think. Bandai does have a lot on their plate at the moment with Dragon Ball, Digimon, One Piece, and I think they're going to try and do like an English Battle Saga. That looks crazy. So they're trying to do 4 different TCGs with probably limited staff, and at the same time, people aren't checking in. They're probably just clocking in, getting their work done, and going home. And I don't blame them. We've all got those 9-to-5 jobs where we go because we've got to go and get some money for the family. But at the same time, it is ruining people's experiences. It's not great to be that person who has to rule shock someone and be like, excuse me, that's not how it works. As having to judge events occasionally, when you go somewhere, actually that card's not correctly written. It has an errata since then. For instance, the best one is ADP. A lot of people think, even though it says in the card, ignore all security effects. It only wants you to ignore option card security effects. If you want to know all security effects, you've got to play the new Repurple Imperial deck, which is out now at your local Toys R Us, if it was still here. So, that's it for me today. I still love Digimon. I just wish Bandai would use a QA team or something like that. But there we go. Right, we'll see you guys soon. Hopefully everything's well. And I hope you enjoyed kind of more of a grumpy video in the morning as opposed to my happy, look, we got some nice things. And then tomorrow for you guys, not tomorrow for me, you'll have a nice, I think it's going to be the last stuff coming out, which is all red stuff. So we should have a nice, cool day with that Shoutmon stuff. And we'll see you guys for more stuff tomorrow. And then we'll have lots of alt arts to look at. So make your picks in the comments right now. Tell me what 18 cards you think are going to get alted. Remember, though, each secret rare is going to get 2 alt arts. Peace out and goodbye.